Welcome everybody to What's the Biz, your place for business and entrepreneurship. And I'm glad to have Jared Alexander here with us today. Jared,
yes, sir.
Tell our viewing audience who you are and tell them about your brand.
Well, I am Jared Alexander with KISA, Knight in Shining Armor. That's the acronym, Knight in Shining Armor for KISA. Been in business almost 5 years now.
Awesome.
And we specialize in metal bow ties.
Awesome, metal bow ties. And viewers, y'all see I have a really nice red one here. Shout out to Kappa Alpha Cider, Crimson and Cream.
Yes, indeed.
But this is just an awesome thing. I mean, and this is something that most people don't have yet. So
yes, sir.
When you wear this, you automatically stand out. So just tell us about what's the origin of this brand and how'd you come about with your business?
Well, you said one thing, you said stand out, and that's one of the main things we wanted to do with the brand is to have something that calls you to stand out.
Right.
We started, first of all, I worked on a job that all the men wore the same exact thing.
Right.
And so I wanted something that kind of set me apart from everybody else because, you know, we was all in the same suits and same shirts, same tie. So that tends to get a little redundant and boring. So I went online, I started shopping for a bow tie. And they were sold out.
Wow.
Then I had it. So I said, well, I can probably make that. Went to the store. They didn't have the materials for me to make the tie.
Wow.
So just kind of organically begin to shop around just for different materials. And I said, you know what, I'm going to try this. And I wore it to church one day, and the young people loved it. So I'm like, maybe this can be turned into a business. So that's how it kind of organically happened.
Wow, wow. And like I say, it's just so unique, and it's something, you can't find this anywhere else, can you?
No, sir.
So it's right here in Shreveport, Louisiana, we have somebody that has created something that you can't find anywhere else. So just tell us what motivates you in business. We know that business is hard, even when you have your own brand, especially something that's new that people aren't used to. How do you feel sometimes when you show it to somebody and they may not embrace it, or the business is not doing what you think it should be doing?
And see, that's the thing. You always have to believe in yourself and believe in your brand. Just today, I posted a new tie online. Posted up on Facebook, and an individual, she shared it on her page, and she said, I don't know how I feel about this. Well, just the fact that you shared it, you give me more publicity. So, you know what I'm saying, you have to just stay consistent and just, you know, believe in yourself.
Right, and believe in yourself. And what would you tell maybe a young person that's looking to get into fashion, especially something that may be different? How would you encourage them and tell them to keep pushing with their dreams and aspirations?
I would say just be relentless. Eat, breathe, and sleep your brand.
Wow.
Constantly just, like I say, bring yourself. If you want to get into fashion, if you braid hair, if you do hair, you know, become your own mannequin, become your own stylist.
Right.
So if you make bow ties, you do hair, advertise yourself. Right,
advertise yourself and push yourself. And like you said, I like how you turn what could potentially have been a negative response on social media into a positive one with saying, well, what if people say they don't like it? Well, that's more push for me. And we know that social media can turn you into a superstar real quick.
Exactly.
If you get enough shares of people that say they don't like it, trust me, you'll get enough buys of people that do like it. Well, that's awesome. And what just keeps you going even more with your business?
What keeps me going is the fact that I want to be my own business owner. I work on a job every day just like maybe the next person, but that's not something that I want to do.
Right.
So I want to create an opportunity for myself to be able to, go in business on my own and, create a legacy for the family.
Right. Awesome. Well, we're going to get into our next segment talking about entrepreneurship, being a business owner, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and just kind of talking about, the real side of being a business owner. A lot of people always think, well, look, it's, oh man, you make these bow ties, you get to sit down there and just be creative all day, but they don't know the planning that goes into it, buying supplies, meeting the demand, setting your price, going to different business shows. I'm pretty sure you've been to some business shows to where you sold a lot of product, then I'm pretty sure you've been to some to where you came with a whole lot of stuff that you came in with. So let's talk about that on our next segment here on What's the Biz. Welcome back to What's the Biz. I'm here with Jared Alexander of KISA, Knight in Shining Armor. So let's get into the meat of it. Let's talk about business, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. So one of the bad parts is, you go into a business, especially starting out, like myself. When we first started KISA, it was booming. Everybody was liking it, everybody was buying, but we got to a point where it was a slow season.
Right.
When nobody was purchasing no other saying, and they kind of get discouraging. You know, when you believe in your product and you see something you have that's different, that sets apart, and you believe that it's just going to take off and go high and higher, and you hit a rough patch.
Right.
And so that kind of, you know, discourage you a little bit and have you rethinking yourself and doubting. But
Exactly.
you just have to keep pushing, and this is what we're trying to do.
Keep pushing, yeah. And I tell everybody, you know, along with just life, the business journey, it's one of those ups and downs.
Right.
Even when you get to a point of growth, you might see a point to where, you know, maybe the money is growing, but you got to grow somewhere else. We always think about growth for a business is always about money and finances, but we know sometimes it's about brand awareness, or sometimes it's building a process, or sometimes it's about having the staff that you need. So let's talk about some of the good things that you've experienced as a business owner.
Well, the good things I've experienced, you know, from the jump, it's important for me to speak over your business, you know, say positive things out, you know, set goals and, you know, set out to reach them. One of the good things about what we was able to do, we was able to be in contact with some pretty high profile people.
Awesome.
Bishop Jakes is actually one of our patrons.
Awesome.
We also had the opportunity to dress Woody McClain. He played Bobby Brown.
Yes.
In the New Edition movie, and also Boris Cujo was also one of our patrons. So it's actually put us in a position to meet some pretty cool people.
Right, and I bet because we've had the pleasure to work with some high profile people. So sometimes on some of those dark days or some of those weeks where business is not going where we want it, you can always reflect on some of the achievements and some of the successes that you've done. So how does that help you just to propel on and to keep on making these awesome bow ties?
It does, and it just, like you said, gives you the encouragement. Well, you know, if you may be going through a rough season, but you know, seasons come and go.
Right.
Seasons come and go. Spring is only here for a season. When it's only here for a season, when that's over, you know that new time is coming.
Exactly. So tell us about some of the, I know you've talked about TD Jakes, Boris Cujo. Who else have you serviced with your brand?
Well, we've actually had the opportunity to serve several people in Shreveport, my hometown. We have a lot of return guests, and that's what I like about it. One of our patrons is Mr. Rodney Williams.
Okay.
His entire church, his entire ministry department, he brought ties for Father's Day.
Wow.
And so we appreciate our return guests, our patrons that buy from us all the time.
Right. Good. And tell us, you know, just something else that you may want to say encouraging to, you know, to somebody that may be in a slow point in their business, but you just tell them to keep going. What's something that you would say to them?
I would say don't quit. Just keep at it and keep the faith and trust God. You know, put God first in everything that you do, and pray He'll make a way for you. That's just the way.
Right.
That's the way I roll.
Yeah, that's the way you look. I like that. That's just the way you roll. Well, that's awesome. So we're gonna go into our last segment. We want to talk about vision. We want to talk about where do you see your brand in 10, 15, 20 years? Where do you see your business? Do you have any other endeavors? All of that good stuff. Because I know business owners, entrepreneurs, they're always thinking ahead. You know, it may be 2019 now, but you're probably already thinking about, man, what do I want to pull out in 2025? So let's talk a little bit about that in our next segment. Make sure to stay tuned to What's the Biz.
My name is Jessica Lattin, and I am the owner of JL Counseling. I provide individual counseling, family counseling, and group counseling, and I cover a variety of topics, including grief counseling, anger management, depression, and anxiety. Domestic violence and maternal mental health are two topics that are very near and dear to my heart, and there is a lack of services here in our community, and that is why I chose to specialize in those two areas. There is a huge stigma surrounding mental health these days, and I really want to be a beacon of light in this community to show everyone that your mental health is just as important as your physical health. My favorite part about the counseling process is watching my clients achieve their goals and seeing the smile on their faces and the change in their attitude really helps me to realize this is why I became a counselor.
Welcome back to What's the Biz, and again, we're here with Jared Alexander. So let's talk about vision. Let's talk about goals. Let's talk about 5 to 10 years out. What's the outlook that you have for your business?
Oh man, not only bow ties, we want to expand. My wife and I, we're in business together.
Awesome.
I'm a newlywed.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. And what she does is she owns a sewing machine, and so never went to school for any of it. So she's also had the opportunity to sew for different people, interesting, eclectic people. So the brand is expanding, and in fashion as well, women's fashion.
Awesome.
And so we see ourselves after 10 years, just globally. That's where I want to be. I want to be global all across the nation.
Right. Awesome. And like you say, just expanding into just fashion.
Right.
All together.
Men and women fashion, kids
Yeah.
fashion.
Yeah. Everything. And just take us through the process. What's the process to make one of these ties?
When I first started, it took me, I know, a day to make a bow tie.
Wow.
But now it takes about maybe 10 minutes. You know, once I get the concept or the idea of where the person want to go. And see, with fashion, it's tricky because you have to, let's see, you have to go along with what the client wants, but also what you think looks good too.
Exactly,
and
right.
what you want to put out there with your name on it is also, you have to take that into effect too. So I just say stay true to yourself. If you want to get in fashion, just stay true to yourself and, you know, design for the person. But when you put your stamp of approval on something and you're sending something out, it has to be to your standards as well.
Right. So tell us, what are the different options that you do have for your bow ties?
Right now, we offer, of course, just the metal piece like you're wearing and myself is wearing. Different little details as far as feathers, stones. We're getting to cloth now, and pretty soon we'll be able to make acrylic bow ties.
Wow,
Yes,
wow, man, that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, man, we're just so excited about your brand and about what you have going on. So tell people, where can they reach out to you if they want to purchase a bow tie or if they want to follow you and figure out what you got going on?
You can find us on Facebook at KISA Clothing or also on Instagram at KISA_collection.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We're excited just about your brand and about the future of what you and your wife are doing with your business and and all the insight that you gave today. So is there anything else that you want to say about your business or about just being an entrepreneur?
Find someone that inspires you. And like I said, surround yourself with people who are motivating you to be better than that you are. My aunt told me a while ago, if your circle, if you're the best person in your circle, the person that makes the most noise, then you find somebody else to work with.
Right.
You know, if you're not doing better than the people in your circle, then you're good.
Right, then you're good. Good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on our show. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in today to What's the Biz, your place for business and entrepreneurship. We'll see you next time.